So, going live early. Hello everyone. I'm here. Let's see, how is everyone today? We have the live chat up. We have everything in place. What is going on? Okay, turn off my volume coming right back at me, because that is the most distracting thing in the world. But we are going to get these comfy. We are going to get going. Viber Lion, I see you. Little Mountain Life, I see you. How are we? It's going to be an exciting day today. We have the Apple earnings call, not Apple learning call. That's not a thing. Right, let's get this thing playing in the background. I'm going to turn that down a little bit. So I have got the Apple earnings call, the financial results call, going in the background. This is actually the 2021 Q1, apparently, earnings call. That's what it says on here. I guess because their financial year starts in a different place. So I'm going to adjust what we have in the information. Let's just fix that. Q1 2021. Let's save that. How is everyone? Cool. I have one iCave answer that we're going to do as well before we even get started, because I'm that organised. So let's do a quick iCave answer. Where do you think Apple would be right now without the iPhone? How would the world be right now? So this is coming from Just an Ordinary Person, and you are right there in the chat. Hello, wouldn't they get you a strike? They probably would. Can you hear the music in the background, guys? Hopefully you can't hear the Apple earnings stuff. There is a bit of music going on there right now. If you can't hear it, then I think we should be safe. But I just want to run through this question. Just let me know if you can hear that background music right now, guys. But this question about where would Apple be without the iPhone, I mean, nowhere really. If you think about it, the biggest product that Apple had before the iPhone was very much the iPod. That was as far as Apple went. So, yeah, iPod was basically just completely replaced by the iPhone when that came out, which I think is just like, I think it's what they intended to do. And a lot of people talk to me about how Apple doesn't want to cannibalize the iPad sales by putting in like a touchscreen Mac. They don't care. Like, if Apple cared about cannibalizing their own sales, they would not have brought in the they wouldn't have brought in the iPhone to replace the iPod. It wouldn't have brought in all of that music capability that the iPhone had. It wouldn't have had the video playback stuff that the iPhone has. So that's kind of where I see it. Like, the biggest product that Apple does right now by a long, long way is the iPhone. But don't underestimate what the other stuff that they do does in terms of sales. Like, just AirPods would be a Fortune 500 company all on its own. But the iPod created the iTunes Apple ecosystem. Yes, absolutely, Fred, welcome. The iPod did create that, but without what the iPhone did next, I don't think that the Apple in general would be anywhere near where they are now. I think they probably would maybe not have even been able to keep making Macs. I don't think they would have made enough money to do it. I don't think they would have had enough market share to do it. So I think there's a lot that we need to lay down in front of iPhone as the thing that has kind of made Apple what it is today. Guys, just if you're joining right now, I did start this stream a little bit earlier than I expected to. I'm not going to be playing the audio from Apple's earnings call over this stream, so if you want to listen along as well, because I'll be listening live, what I would suggest is that you head over to the link that is in the description of the video, and you can have this playing in another like in another tab if you're on a desktop, or you can have it playing on another device if you've got an iPad handy or an old iPhone or something like that. Then you can keep that running in the background and you'll be able to hear what's going on and what we're actually reacting to on the channel. A new cave view, yes, this is a new cave view, and actually the iCave has had quite an upgrade today. So if you were watching today's video, you might have noticed that the iCave has had a little bit of a rearrange. The iMac that used to be sitting kind of over this side is not there anymore. It wasn't there in this morning's show that we put out. Over there right now is a little pile of stuff, so I will just lift this up for the moment, and you can see that there is my G4 cube and my speaker system and a light, but you can just see in the top corner there, I mean, this is actually the upgrade that happened today. So replacing my little, I think it was an HP display that I had, which was about 21 inches, we have a 4K TV, 40 inches, which is my new main display here, and then above it is the 40-inch 1080p display. Then my iMac kind of lives over there in the pile of rubbish. But yes, we had a big old upgrade. This arrived today. It was a JVC 4K TV that arrived. Let me just get that back to vaguely where it was before. Yeah, so it's a JVC 40-inch 4K smart TV. It's got Android Play and all that kind of stuff built into it, although it's not really going to be doing any of the kind of stuff that Android puts into it. It's going to be my computer display. But the reason that I've gone for this is I'm using a Mac Mini. This is the first stream I've done as well on the Mac Mini with M1. But because it's restricted to 2 displays, I feel like I need more space on it. So the displays that I've got, we have the 4K one now, and then a 1080p above. They're both 40 inches, which is really quite nice because they actually match. The bezels are a lot smaller on the lower one, and kind of overlaps the bezel on the top one, which means that it kind of looks like they've both got smaller bezels, and they kind of fit together nicely. So yeah, I really like having this 4K display. I've got so much room on here because I'm running it natively, so I'm not running it as like a Retina pixel doubled thing. I am running it purely with as much screen real estate as I can, and I put up a couple of pictures on my Twitter and on my Instagram today, so you can go and check those out. It's iCave_Dave on both platforms if you want to check that out. And yeah, you can fit a lot on here. Like the bottom corner of my screen, I've got the full res 1080p YouTube thumbnails that I was working on. So I'm really, really liking this. I've got so much space to do stuff. And because it's 40 inches, it's actually big enough to keep kind of stuff open on and sit back a little bit from the display. And things are not too small to use, so it's good. I'm really liking it so far. We will do a proper review of using this as my main display pretty soon on the channel. I will get a neck ache looking up. Yeah, so Fred, that display has actually been there for quite a while. What I tend to do is on that one, because that's the 1080p display that's right up there, that tends to just have like YouTube playing in the background or something on full screen, or I'll use it to keep like Finder windows open if I'm grabbing files for Final Cut and stuff like that. So that's where that lives. So it's not something that I look at all the time, but it is used quite a bit. Little Mountain Life. I feel like such an idiot for not taking advantage of their employee match stock option when I worked at Apple back in 2010, 2011. Win some, lose some. Oh yeah, you would have done pretty well then, I think. The waffle ball. What's that behind you? If you mean this wall up here, this is a wallpaper that looks like wine cases. Because my day job, I work talking about drinks all day. That is what I do, and I do some content creation and video creation, so it becomes a backdrop for me for that. But over there, that's my door, that goes to my kitchen, and that's my kind of logo text that I painted on it. Vibelion, Steve Jobs created iTunes due to Napster. Yes, he did. So the reason that iTunes came about, I'm guessing Vibelion, you know this story already, but for anyone that doesn't, Napster was kind of the first music sharing kind of torrenting thing. Sorry, I got really close to the camera then, but I do love how quick this iPhone 12 Pro Max refocusers. Yeah, so back to the iTunes Napster story. Yeah, Steve Jobs did put that together because everyone was torrenting their music, everyone was stealing their music, and iTunes was kind of the first place where you could get music, individual tracks for 99 cents each, and it did really well. Hilso, do you think Magsafe will return? Yes, 100%. It looks like, obviously, Magsafe as a brand has come back for the iPhones already, which has been a really cool thing. I don't charge my iPhone using anything but Magsafe. It is plugged in at the moment, but that's purely because I'm using it as the camera that you are watching on right now. So, yes, Magsafe on MacBooks, I think, is very likely to come back, actually. I think we've got a really cool time right now. I mentioned in one of our recent videos that I think the reason that we're getting all of these ports back into the Macs is probably because of Johnny Ives leaving Apple. I think Johnny was the one that was kind of going for, let's minimize everything as much as we can. And I think Magsafe was one of those things that everyone kind of went, but why are we getting rid of that? Because it was such a good idea. Magsafe is like the best way of charging Macs ever. Like, you trip over it, you don't pull your computer off the table. It just clips off and then you click it back on. Magsafe doesn't make sense as much for the iPhone charger because the magnetism is so strong that it doesn't kind of detach anyway. So it doesn't make any sense as a name, but it's good. It's good that they're using that branding again because I think it does point to the idea that we'll probably get Magsafe back in the near future for the iPhones, for the Macs, sorry. I also think that Apple's just got a huge new kind of focus on the Mac since M1 coming out. I think it's really, really good. I'm very excited about what they're doing. Viber Lion, I heard MacBooks are bringing back more ports like SD card slot and maybe normal USB 3. Possibly normal USB 3. That's the one that I'm kind of on the fence about. But the rumor basically said, and this was through Ming-Chi Kuo, who's one of the big Apple analysts, he was saying that Apple is looking to bring back a lot of ports and probably stop people needing dongles as much. Now, everything since then has kind of been assumptions other than the Magsafe thing, because Magsafe has actually been reported. The stuff about SD cards, I think, is an assumption. I don't think anyone's seen evidence that that's particularly what's coming back. But it's going to be interesting to see what does happen from that point of view, and if we are actually going to get any of that stuff turning up. USB 3, though, like USB-A, USB 3, I think is going to be really tricky because just the size of it, I think, is the issue. And I don't think they're going to make the MacBooks that much thicker than they were in the past. So we'll have to see what happens with that. Just sharing the stream on Twitter. If any of you want to share this, I would love it. Let's get some more people in here. We've got a decent number now. We've got 30 odd watching. So, I think as well. I'm just thinking about what Apple did in the previous quarter as well. I think they did this quarter last year. They did like 91 billion, which is like huge. But I think the expectation this year, I've put, are they going to break 100 billion? I think that's going to be like almost a no-brainer at this point, because normally the iPhones release in the quarter before, and there's a little bit of that kind of crossover between the quarters. This time, because of the iPhones being slightly delayed, it took a little bit longer. So all of that iPhone revenue is coming in this quarter. The iPad Air is coming in this quarter. AirPods Max, which will contribute, $40 or $50, that will come in this quarter as well. There's a lot of stuff. All of the Apple Silicon Macs. So I think this is going to be a really good one. And of course, Apple One, which is a huge thing for Apple. They've been wanting to move over towards more services stuff for a long time, and I think it's going to be big. I'm going to put my my number down. Actually, let me know in the live chat what you think their number's going to be. 91 billion in this quarter last year. Let me know your predictions, and I will tell you mine afterwards. In fact, I will write it down just to make it fair, or I would if I had a pen. Right, let's have a quick look at these comments, but make sure you put your predictions down in that live chat. Fred Hutt, any connection that's not dependent on orientation, with or without magnets, is ideal. My son-in-law destroys any connector that's not USB-C or Magsafe. He killed 2 VGA ports in one day. I mean, VGA ports are so old they deserve to die, Fred. But that sucks. That's some hard work to push those in at the wrong way round. Andrew Horn, Simen. Tim Cook has turned 60. Do you think do you find Craig Federighi the most likely to be the next CEO of Apple or someone else? Yeah, he's turned 60. He is not going anywhere. That guy is fitter than most humans on the planet. He's not going anywhere till he's probably at least... I think he's got another decade in him at least. But Craig Federighi would be great if CEO just meant presenting the keynotes. However, I think that probably Jeff Williams is the most likely successor. Andrew Hornbeck, the lack of ports is what's kept me from getting anything newer than a 2015 MacBook Pro. Well, that's fair enough. Also, the atrocious keyboards should have kept you from getting those. The new ones are awesome. Just to point out, my wife's got the MacBook Air, the new 2020 M1 MacBook Air, so that's pretty cool. And the keyboards are just great again. Viberline, I think Craig will be the perfect CEO. Yeah, again, if CEO meant presenting keynotes, 100%. However, Craig is a software guy. He's not necessarily as much of a business guy. Tim Cook, the reason he's done so well as CEO is because he is operations to the hilt. He's been out in China during the pandemic a lot because he's been so busy making sure that everything is on the ball and smashing it in terms of getting the stuff out the door. And we had no supply constraints with iPhone 12s. That's not because it wasn't popular. That's because they just did a fantastic job of getting them produced quickly. Yes, it was slightly later than normal, pandemic, but it's the biggest iPhone launch they've had in a few years. I think this is the iPhone 6S or the 6, which are all huge launches. So fair play to him. He's done an incredible job of that. So next up, UK Apple sheep Matthew Fisher. Hey. The press have already announced the earnings, 114 billion and almost 200 billion in cash in hand. Oh, well, how have they done that? I didn't think they told anyone until this happened. But if it's 114, happy days. Yeah, I thought they would smash that. My number I had in my head was 109, so not bad at all if that's true. I think it might be Jeff Williams. He is the next biggest leadership, but I like Craig. Yep, completely agree. Just an ordinary person. Yeah, he's probably the guy. Half man, half tech. Hey Dave, hope your son is doing well. Great work with the content. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, so he was supposed to come out of hospital today. He has not come out of the hospital. He got another temperature today, so he is staying for another night at least. Which was a bit annoying. I've had to go and drop off stuff for my wife, so she's got things to look after him. But yeah, it's all cool. Viberline, Apple Pencil. I'm assuming you mean so I can write down my prediction, but it's up there. I forgot to move it. It's not on top of my iPad. I haven't had it on there for a few days. UK Apple Sheet. You've just adjusted it to 111 billion, so I was pretty close to 109. Not so bad. The Waffball prediction, Apple made bank. Yep. I honestly think that Apple is becoming more eco-friendly, so they might stop using sweatshops. Hilso, if you have a look into the stuff that Apple has been doing recently, they're actually really quite positive about the stuff that they are doing to improve conditions over in China and Vietnam and India. I know they had the big kind of thing that came up recently about the riots in India. Apparently we have the revenues on Newsroom. Fred, no, Apple is all over the place, not just Foxconn. I wouldn't call any of their factories sweatshops anymore, though. Again, this is one of the things that kind of changed massively with Tim Cook's leadership, is that they were a lot more open about where they make stuff and who makes stuff for them and all that kind of stuff. Right, let's have a quick look at Newsroom and see what's going on. Okay, yeah, so they've put the results up. There is always still going to be interesting stuff, though, that comes out in these calls. So, we are still going to do our stream, don't you worry. Where's that gone? Right, let's have a look at these reports that we've got. So this is coming out ahead of the earnings call, which is absolutely fine. I guess it's one of these things that with fiduciary stuff where they're bringing things out for investors, I think everyone has to have it at the same time. So I guess with the lag of things like streaming, there might be issues with that. So revenue up 21% and EPS up 35% for all-time records. iPhone, wearables, and services all set new revenue records. I mean, this is absolutely what we're expecting. But yes, it would have been nice to kind of get the surprises as Tim said it, but, you know, this is all fine. Here we go. Apple will provide live streaming of its Q1 2021 financial results in a conference call beginning at 2 p.m. PST, Pacific time, sorry. Cool. Who else is listening in, by the way? The link for the Apple call is going on in... it's in the description, so if anyone else wants to listen in and not just rely on me to tell you what's going on. Yep, starts in 4 minutes' time, so it's now 21:56. It will be 10 p.m. GMT, 2200 GMT, when this starts. Has anyone got any other general questions about Apple stuff that we can answer in 4 minutes or less? It's quite funky music that we've got going on in the earnings call. So we are nearly ready to go. Who else is excited for this call about stuff that we've already just been told from the newsroom? Oh, let's have a look. We've got the condensed consolidated statements of operation. So this is all of Apple's actual numbers. Yeah. So last year products netted them 79 billion. This year 95.6 billion. Services up from 12.7 billion to 15.7 billion, so that's up nicely. Net sales up from 91 to 111 billion, very nice. Gross margin way up, and I think that's probably driven by the services stuff. 1.66 billion active devices, that sounds about right. Right, we've got a few new messages in here. So Apple is Apple is working insane, irrelevant. Did you set up your new monitor TV? Yes. Max, I don't know how to say your name, sorry. But yes, I will show you really quickly before we get into the main call. But here is the new display underneath the old display. So that is a 40-inch HD TV. That is a 40-inch 4K display. So the amount of screen real estate I have now here is incredible. And there's my old iMac that's kind of out of service now. So I just thought I would show you that. Yeah, it's a 40-inch JVC smart TV that I picked up for £250, which is pretty good. Very fun. I was hoping as well to have my kind of mirrorless camera, which is this one. This is being set up as my new webcam because I'm trying to build a better iMac than Apple can. So we have the M1 Mac Mini, we have the 40-inch display, then we're going to have this as the webcam. So I've got a little camera adapter, which is down here. I've gone for one of the cheap ones that's not an Elgato, so this was like £17 instead of 120 or 130. So it'll be 1080p, but that's still better than most iMacs have got. And with a big old sensor like this, so it should look really, really nice. So that's what I'm trying to do. We will do a big video on that once I get everything finished and set up. I've got my Magsafe underneath it, which I think is what they're going to do with the new iMacs as well. So yeah, lots of stuff going on. Oh, it's beginning. It's beginning. See, it says it's beginning. We've got 10 PM on the thing. I'm not hearing anything cool yet. Just an ordinary person. Are you ahead of me on it? That's not fair. It says live streaming, so I don't think anyone should be ahead of me. But we'll find out. The College Professor, I rock the Mini M1 8GB and the MacBook Pro M1 16GB. Oh, you've gone for it, haven't you? So we've got the MacBook Air as well. That's my wife's computer. I've got literally the base level Mac Mini, which has been incredibly good for me so far. All the videos are being made on that. I've got a couple of external SSDs. Decided to wear the astronaut hoodie again. Oh, here we go. Stand by. Tim's nearly ready. Here we go. We're going over to the Director of Corporate Finance and Investor Relations. Tim Cook up first. Excellent. Disclaimer time. So the stuff they're talking about now is just basically saying anything we say now you can't hold us accountable for. College Professor, yes, M1 rocks for everyday folks. It rocks for everyone. There are a handful of programs that still don't run, but Fred Hutt thought it was a Morris dancing outfit. Is this some sort of racism against the British? X, there will never be an SE Mac. We'll see, X. I think SE Macs are on the way. Tim's up. Hey, Mikey. A very strong quarter. All-time revenue record. Double-digit growth everywhere. Fred, you from Western, at least you got the seaside. So Apple's saying how much it's been a challenge for them, but more of a challenge for other people. Let me know in the chat if you think the pandemic helped or hurt Apple. There we go, active devices over 1.65 billion worldwide. iPhone's up 17%. That's a lot. More than 1 billion iPhones. The cameras on the iPhone 12 are awesome. You're looking at one right now. Yep, COVID has hurt shops. iPad Air and M1 chips, all coming into this quarter. Demand very strong. They're the #1 desktop in Japan. So HomePod Mini and AirPods Max have been really successful. Fitness Plus is great. My headphones are broken. UK Apple Sheep, they don't give individual product numbers anymore. That's one of the really sad things. But they sold out super quick. And all of the reviews have been incredible. Nathan, I think you're right. Helped and hurt them. Now they're talking about how developers got that commission cut down to 15%. M1 Max coming for blood, PC days are numbered. I agree. We were talking in today's show about how M1 Macs are probably going to be Hackintoshed backwards, where people are trying to hack Windows onto them because they're so much faster than Windows machines. Fred, I agree. Yes, 2 years ago they stopped giving, like, device numbers. Record number of device activations in the last week of the quarter. Christmas Day, 9 out of 10 devices, like the top 10 devices, were Apple iPhones being activated. Viberlion has inhabited his Astrid identity because he's using his sister's iPad. We have a little talk about politics. He's talking about the fact that it's a new chapter for America, and please don't hate me because I mentioned politics. That's all you're getting. College professor, I used to use my Dell PC for giving lectures, and fan would come on after 15 minutes and sound like it's taking off. Then it lagged and sputtered. My Mac Mini or MacBook Pro M1 runs the 3-hour lectures smoothly. Yeah, 100%. I was doing full-on Blender renders for like 40 minutes. Couldn't even hear the fan on the Mini. And it was beating a massive rig. Joseph, welcome. Joseph, we've got the results already. $111 billion in revenue. A brand new record for Apple. This is huge. Up from $91 billion this quarter last year. So hopefully that helps you. Please hang around. Ask any more questions you've got. We were happy to answer. An ordinary person, Apple is the only company that's grown during the pandemic besides Zoom. Zoom has done pretty well. They won some awards from Apple too. Now, Apple is just talking a lot about their stuff around the Detroit Developer Academy and stuff now, which I got so much heat about talking about on the videos, but I'll be honest, I don't care. People have asked me about not talking about politics. I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about what Apple are doing. I'm reporting it. Fred Hutt, national need. No, Apple is global. Yes, but their national need will come first because the US is their biggest market still, right now, at least. Nathan Stevenson, Minecraft now runs natively on Mac. M1 MacBook Air runs at 150 FPS. I need to check that out because I've downloaded it as the trial and I haven't played it natively, and I'm looking forward to that. I will play with that very, very soon. UK Apple Sheep, Matt Fisher, do you have any Apple stocks? No, I don't, which is why I'm allowed to talk about all this stuff and not make massive disclaimers first. Probably should, but I don't. I put my house deposit into Apple a few years back. Quite glad I did. Yeah, that's going to have done pretty well for you, dude. Especially if you got it a few years back. Fred Hutt, Amazon. Just the word Amazon. Help me out with that one. Elon Musk admires Steve Jobs. Astrid, Viberlion. Yeah, can't blame him. He has the same radical candor. So Tim's talking about the end of COVID now. That's not even close on the horizon. I think we've got at least another 6 months, probably 9 months, before we get anywhere close to normal. But I do think we're going to be looking at... Amazon stocks have grown. Yeah, they have. Absolutely. Home delivery. It's all about home delivery. So we're into the Chief Financial Officer now. Do we think that Apple will utilize the position they've obtained with Apple Silicon to grow their business and market share? Yeah, 100%. They've now got lower costs. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Yeah, Apple will definitely use Apple Silicon to grow their market share, because there's nothing that's really going to compete with them, especially when they come out with M1X. and then M2s, it's just going to pull away further. Like, there is definitely stuff going on that there are products out there that rival it, but this is their entry level point. This is not big numbers. This is replacing the cheapest of the MacBooks that existed. We've not got to iMacs and stuff yet. It's gonna be huge. What font do I use on my YouTube channel banner? That is Condensed. Nice and easy. Nathan, where did you find this info? Oh, who am I? Oh, what did Nathan say? Is that about the frame rates? Apple's SE tutorials. I'm not quite sure which bit you're asking me about. Dave, which company do you think will fail first? Which tech giants? Right now, weirdly, I think Facebook is probably the most kind of on the edge because there's just a lot of controversy around what they're doing. Twitter has not really made much money in the past. It depends what you mean by a giant. I don't know about Dell. I feel like some of the big PC manufacturers like HP or Dell might be in trouble. But it's very difficult to know because they can all kind of pivot. But yeah. Interesting question, Viberline. Just an ordinary person's also said Facebook. Yeah, there's a lot of people moving away from it right now, but they've just still got their fingers in so many pies that I don't think we're going to have any problems there. 65.6 billion for iPhone revenue. Matthew, if you got your shares at £40 a share, they're not worth 3 times that now. They've done a 5-to-1 split since then, I think. I think they're worth a lot more than that. Nathan Stevenson, do I think Samsung Exynos will rival M1? No, because it's not even as good as the Qualcomm chips that they put in as well. Like, the Exynos is kind of like the second-class citizen to Qualcomm, and Qualcomm's 888 isn't even close to an A14, let alone anything else. Fred, if Apple grow market share, will they need their own semiconductor fab? No, TSMC is definitely big enough, and Apple has already secured pretty much everything that TSMC is making of 3nm for the first, year, I think. They're absolutely going to dominate it. I have said in the past that I think Apple should buy TSMC, though. They've got the money to do it if they want to. It's a huge amount. At Cat and Dog Owner, was it announced? Yes, they're doing the announcements right now. The link, if you want to listen live, is in the comments. However, if you want to just read the numbers, they are all on apple.com/newsroom/2021/apple-report-first-quarter-results/. And all the numbers are there, but it's 111.4 billion in revenues, which is up 21% over last year, and earnings per share is up 35%, which is lovely for Apple. Leo Hopper, do you think that the 14-inch and 16-inch MacBooks will come with M1X at the base price, or will Apple make us upgrade as a premium? I think they will come with I think the 16-inch will come with that as the base price. I think the 14-inch will probably be around $1,800. That's my guess at this point. That's a really good question. You're right. College Professor, I agree with you. Yeah, the 13-inch will still start at the $12.99 price point with M1, and the 1800 plus will probably come with M1X. That's my guess. 75% of Apple Watches sold during the last quarter were new to Apple Watch. They weren't upgrades. I was one of the 25%. I upgraded to the SE. Mac, here we go. 8.7 billion in Macs, up 21%. Nathan, that is a brilliant point. So you were just playing Minecraft last night? Fred. Sorry, it was Fred. Everything moved a bit quick then. So, yeah, TSMC purchase would be ideal. Nvidia, as well as a couple of users of TSMC, have had production delayed because Apple's M1 was taking all the production. Yep, 100%. That's probably what's pushed up the price of graphics cards. Viberlion, what is Apple's next move on Apple TV Plus? Because I watched the Moon movie from Apple TV Plus and it was great series, but now all I watch is Fraggle Rock. No other content I find interesting. So the Moon stuff is one of my favourites. It was the For All Mankind. I love space stuff. Kerbal Space Program is the only thing I really play on my computer. But there are some great things on Apple TV Plus. Defending Jacob is excellent. Morning Show was excellent. There's a lot of stuff that I want to watch that I haven't yet. I want to watch C, I think. I'm not sure if it's that good, but I think it looks pretty cool. At UK Apple Sheep, is it only you that's got slow mode? No, everyone has. Sorry, it's 1 minute between comments. It's purely because we do get some random spam stuff going on. I'm not penalising you, Matt. How's the quality been of the feed for everyone? Just let me know in the comments, because it's pretty tricky. Elite Dangerous, Elite on the BBC B, then Elite on STFM. Are you talking about Elite Dangerous on BBC Basic, Fred? Because that is the computer that I grew up on too. STFM, what's that? STFM. Somebody needs to help me out with what STFM is. Oh, we're talking about the March quarter. As usual, they're not pushing us towards a specific revenue range because of the uncertainties in the market. Okay, this is some big news. They're now saying they expect the business in general to accelerate over the next year in terms of growth, which is just huge. Yes, Matt, I have got Apple Watch SE. I got the Nike version. Going to get it, and then I don't think I could deal without the always-on display. I moved up from a Series 0, so this is absolutely fine for me, but I've also very, very rarely seen a blank display. Hugh, what's up? Atari ST-FM. Okay, Fred. Cool. The Atari ST was cool. Okay, they're talking about dividends now, which is not the interesting stuff for me. But if you have any more questions, let me know. I love doing these live streams where we can just chat. Hugh, I'm doing pretty good. So now we're going into some of the shareholders asking questions. At Viber, he should feel locked in because that's what you should do. It just works better. Oh. No. Goodwin Jassy, if you see any of these, join our WhatsApp thing. Nah. This is why we have slow mode, so we don't get completely destroyed. Yeah, it's a beautiful walled garden. The grass is much greener on the inside of this wall. So what is everyone's latest Apple product that they've bought? Let me know down in the chat. I'm just interested in what people have picked up this year. Any of you guys go for the big headphones? Because these are broken now. Gizzo. Hello indeed. So I've got to say the call is actually getting kind of dull now. Oh, here we go. We've got people's purchases coming up now. MacBook Pro M1, M1 MacBook Air, MacBook Pro M1. What do you think about old Apple veterans leaving the company, such as Bob Mansfield? Now, this is interesting, actually. Really, really good question, Hugh. So, I would say that it's been really good for Apple just recently. Bob Mansfield, I kind of love just because he looks like a big bear, and I think we should keep him forever. But I hate to say this, but Johnny Ive leaving seems to have been a really good thing for Apple. It's really weird to say because I love what Johnny Ive's done in terms of design. Like, I've got his speakers sitting over here. I've got the G4 Cube, which I fucking love. But if Johnny hadn't left, we wouldn't be looking at getting MacBooks with ports again. Johnny was the one that wanted to have USB-C as being the port that we have, and that was kind of it. So I think it's a good thing for the company. Like when Phil Schiller has moved on to his role as an Apple Fellow, and we've got Greg Joswiak, Joz, taking over the marketing side of things. He's an engineer, so he understands a lot more of the stuff that he can talk about, and he can talk about it in a more useful way for people. So I think that's going to be really interesting too. Right, let's have a quick look down these latest things going on. So we've got MacBook Pro M1, MacBook Air, MacBook Pro M1, 12 Max, good shout. M1 MacBook Air, Apple Juice, Cinema Finn, thanks so much for your contribution there, really appreciate it. M1 Mac Mini, ordered AirPods Max, AirPods Pro before Christmas, wow, going for it. I'm hoping we're going to get unboxings of all of these Apple sheep. Rob R, hey David, how it's going? It's going good, man, it's going good. Latest pickups, a new Apple Watch. Did you get the 6 or the SE, Andrew? New iPhone and HomePod Mini. Again, which iPhone did you get? I got an HomePod Mini as well. Don't use it as much as I thought I would. I wish I did. I do use it quite a bit, but not a huge amount. It's in the kitchen. It's the one room where we don't kind of have other Apple stuff kind of around. Fred Hart, I've Jobs, it's a mechanism. Cook is a new mechanism. Yeah, and I think that is part of it. I don't know how well Tim and Johnny got on. Weirdly, though, I was on Clubhouse today, and actually I was chatting to a guy that hired Johnny Ive back in the day. It's like, this is madness. And I've worked with this guy before and never knew any of these stories. So if any of you guys are on Clubhouse, make sure you check me out. Would love some follows. We might do some audio chats. What do you think? Hugh bought iPhone XS Max and 15-inch MacBook Pro with butterfly keyboard. I update my Apple products every 5 years. So are you keeping the iPhone for like 5 years as well? That's a strong decision. College professor, change is good, but they cannot lose their core values and principles and quality. Completely agree. But the stuff we've been hearing about them going over to titanium, potentially as a body for some of the MacBooks, very interesting. I think there's going to be some cool stuff coming that way. Totally agree on Bob Mansfeld and others. He looks like a Chad dad. A Chad dad? What does that even mean? But I like it. I like that sound. UK Apple Sleep. AirPods Pro were done before Christmas. Max, yeah, depends on when I get them. Yeah, it's probably going to be a bit of a wait, man. Andrew Hornback, Watch 6 and 12 Pro, not the Max. Fair enough. I went for the Max. I'm really loving it, I've got to say. Rob, I'm glad Apple is working on bringing AAA video games and bringing video games into the fold. I'm really excited to see how the AAA will do against PC and consoles. They will blow these platforms away. Now, this is all still rumours, right? So let's not get too excited just yet. I saw Max Tech's video on this today, and I'm not convinced. When they're talking about, they're going to do an Apple TV that's got an A14X in it, I'm like, A14X doesn't even exist yet. And if it did, it was them one. But we will see what they do with that. Now, there's also been rumours of Apple Arcade Plus, which amuses me because that's something that John Prosser completely made up out of whole cloth for a fake leak account that he set up to see if people would report on it. And it's kind of still going. Maybe it is a real thing, but if it is, then John Prosser accidentally invented it. Andrew Hornback, my 12 replaced a 7 Plus. Only reason we upgraded was 5G. See, I love the 7 Plus. I had that. It was the first one that actually had the portrait mode photos on it. Sorry, and I really got into photography because of that thing. So it was a really cool phone. I think it's getting a little bit long in the tooth now. My nephew has it right now. But interesting that you went to it for 5G. I'm assuming you live somewhere where 5G is fairly prevalent. Just an ordinary person, do you think that... what do you think is better, a MacBook or Mac Mini desktop? So, interesting question, actually, because I was saying, until today, that I think the MacBook Air is the best value because you get that awesome display, you get the cool keyboard, you get the whole battery life thing. After I've picked up this display today that has literally just arrived, I'm like, this is why you get the Mac Mini, because you can just have so much stuff on your screen. So this 4K display that's sitting in front of me that's like a wall is amazing. And it didn't cost a lot of money, and I'm really impressed with the quality that I've got. So I now see why this is worth doing. And you can throw stuff at it that you've already got. So value-wise, I think the Mac Mini is possibly... It just depends if you need to go anywhere with it. The MacBook Air, if you can just like dock it, pretty good. Hugh Levant, till they drop their software support, then recycle them. That's what I've been doing since my first MacBook Air 13 Also bought an 11-inch for my brother. iPhone 4 combo 2010. iPhone 4 was my first iPhone. It's a good iPhone. It's a solid iPhone. In fact, here it is. It's a beautiful thing. But the new iPhone 12 Pro Max, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the metal band there, that's exactly the same thickness as the new iPhones. It's just that this one has the glass sandwich on the outside, not the inside. Right, what else have we got? If anything, Apple would do something else like Google Stadia, where they stream video games and the processing will be done on Apple servers. Yeah, I mean, if you had banks of Mac Minis that have got M1 in them, they don't create much heat. They're very fast. It could work. Viber, as an Apple fan, I receive lots of hate. Well, you're in a safe place here. There is no hate for Apple fans in our family. Fred Hutt, Apple MX chips are awesome because the die is fully integrated and the memory and graphics is run in an efficient semiconductor geometry using RISC, not CISC. Yeah, RISC is reduced instruction set computing, I think. CISC is complex instruction set computing, I think. That's my best guess, at least. But yeah, I mean, the reduced instruction set basically means that it's much better at a lot of general things, but certain tasks it is a little bit slower for, which is why Apple's kind of bolted on all the extra bits, like the image signal processor and a few other things. CISC works really well for certain stuff, but not everything. And RISC is kind of, it's quite British. ARM is a thing that was invented in Oxford, or Cambridge. No, Cambridge. I'm going to get so much hate for saying Oxford. But yeah, Acorn Computers. And this is why Fred's talking about it, because he had a BBC Basic, which is also an ARM-based computer. Still have the 7 Plus, because no sense in getting a new one. Better to spend it on an iPad Air. Completely agree with you. I love my iPad Air. It is a wicked bit of kit. Thank you for that. The College Professor. Hugh Levant. That's detail for you. What did I say that was detailed? I'm sure I said something. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, which is just investor questions. I don't think we're going to get much more detail from it. But I will have a listen to it later, and we'll see if there's anything else. But I'm actually going to stop this for now because it's getting a little bit distracting. So, I'm going to answer a last few questions, and then I think we're going to wrap this up for today. And obviously, we will still have the normal show tomorrow at 12 UTC. If you're not subscribed, by the way, please do that. Please hit the subscribe button. Post up in the comments, not in the live chat, with hashtag notification squad, and I will give you a shout out in the next video. That is the normal way that we do things around here. And also, if you have any questions you want me to answer on the main shows, use hashtag iCaveAnswers, and I will answer them in our big shows. There has not been an iCave Answers so far in the comments that I haven't answered, at least intentionally. I might have missed the odd one, but I've tried my best. So, you thought your your M1 Mac got warm the other day, but it turns out that the display vents were blowing into the Mac. So it wasn't warm, it was just something else that was making it warm. Okay, cool. Viber Lion, I have iPad 4, first iPad mini, no more supported, what do I do with them? So, iPad 4 was, I think, the last one before we got to iPad Air, the first iPad Air, and the original iPad Mini, which I have as well. So my son uses iPad Mini as just a YouTube toy, basically, and the other one we've got either an iPad 3 or an iPad 4. Either way, it runs about iOS 9.3.2 or something like that. And again, it's used for YouTube and stuff like that. And also, there's a handful of games that you can't play on the current ones that I still have, like Red Alert, the old Command & Conquer one. They made a version for the iPad, and you can still download it on the older iPads, but you can't download it on the new ones because it doesn't work on the 64-bit processors that they put in around the iPhone 5S. So, yeah, that's what I do with them. What else have we got in the comments here? Right. I thought my M1... We've done that one. Right. I'd find a room in my lab rack for an Apple server. It would be a nice replacement for my Xserve. Yes, it still runs. Yeah, the Xserves were cool, man. I don't know if you've seen Luke Miani has a video on using an Xserve as basically a Mac Pro, but on a super budget, and keeping it in another room because they're noisy as hell, but don't really have audio built in. Interesting. Seaman, any thoughts on why Apple dropped Aperture? I mean, they kept Logic and Final Cut. Why remove Aperture? I just generally don't think not many people were using it. I think most people had moved on to Lightroom, and I think that's pretty much all it was. Viberline, another question. Is it true that Apple slows down their devices? Yes, but not to make you upgrade them. They reduce the performance on old iPhones because when the battery degrades, it can't provide peak power, and if you try to draw peak power, then that's when they shut down randomly at like 25-30% of battery, which I have had happen to me, and that is far more frustrating than it's running slightly slower. So yes, it has happened in the past, but it has not been a case of trying to make you replace the item. Actually, the opposite. They were trying to make people keep them because they were still serviceable, rather than throwing them away and getting something new. As a result of all this stuff that happened, they also introduced the cheaper battery replacements program. Rob R. Hey David, wondering if you are a big computer guy or just a consumer of Apple products like myself. I ask because most tech YouTubers come from a computer background. So, yeah, a bit of both. So, when I was at university, I was around a lot of people that were like computer science majors. This is like 2000 though, so it was quite early on. It turns out that one of the guys that was in my dorms was working for Apple at the time, ripping CDs and getting the 30-second previews that used to come in iTunes, because that was pre-iTunes days. This was back in the Napster days, really. So I learned a lot about computers then, and people were still using like Sun Microsystems and all sorts of other stuff. But yeah, I was into computers. I've never really built my own computer because it seemed a bit hard. But I do also collect old Apple computers. So my attic is full of Power Macs and Mac like iBooks and stuff like that, which just make me happy. Okay. Fred Hutt. Yes, my wife says bedtime. Yes, it is bedtime, 100%. My wife is at the hospital with my little boy, so I get to stay up late if I want, but probably not going to. William Philippe, anything surprised you in the earnings report? Yep, I thought they were going to do about 109 billion, and they did 111, so they surprised me by 2.4 billion. But impressive numbers nonetheless. Hugh Levant, I miss Aperture. Yeah, it was a cool thing. It was definitely cool. I am wondering to buy a 2021 or 2022 Apple Silicon Mac workstation to use for video editing. I was thinking about multiple choices. iMac 32-inch 2021. Or the new G4 Nostalgic Cube. Did you see our video where we did the renders of them with Apple Tomorrow on Twitter? Very nice work that he did there. Yeah, I mean, I would say right now, if you need something, grab yourself an M1 Mac Mini. They don't cost a lot of money. They are surprisingly good. The amount of power in them is just shocking for the money. Definitely worth having a look. Apple share price tomorrow prediction. Oh, it's got to be good, isn't it? Right, let's have a look. Where are we right now? So the markets are closed. We're at 142.06. I think we are probably going to see a little bit of a jump from there. The highest it's been in the past... Oh, it's only a day. Let's have a look. Change that to a week. So the highest we got this week is 144.94. I think we'll probably see like 146 tomorrow. Slightly higher than it's been this week, not massively, because I think people kind of expected it. Price target on Apple right now is like 155, I think, for a lot of people. I don't know stocks, but that seems to be where people think it should be. They're doing very well. 155 would probably put them in terms of market cap, because right now they're at 2.4 trillion, basically. That would probably put them at 2.45. It's a lot. What else have we got? What do you think? What graphics card will they... Moment? What is that word, David? Help me out with that one. I think they're going to bring just their own graphics stuff. So I don't expect to see any third-party graphics stuff coming to Apple Silicon. You also have an iPad 2, which is not supported anymore yet. The hardware inside that is an A5 processor, which is the same as in the the iPad Mini. So yeah, it's kind of old, but it does work still for YouTube and things like that. It's fine. Maybe I should play FIFA 14 Dream League. Yeah, that would be cool. Infinity Blade, yeah. I mean, there was also Call of Duty Zombies was back in the iPhone 4 days. That was quite cool. There are many channels pretending to be me. Oh, how flattering. I need to have more of these sessions. I'm doing a great job, Dave. You speak with substance, not just hype to the viewers. Have a great evening. Look forward to more. Look forward to the video tomorrow. Thank you, college professor. College professor. America. I'm failing miserably at talking, which is why we're going to wrap this up. You enjoy the live streams? Thank you very much. We will do more. I kind of don't want to just do them at random though, but maybe we could do every couple of weeks or like once a month if we do a live stream, something like that. I'd have loved to gone to uni, but never got through school. Never mind anything else. Yeah, I went to uni. I just didn't finish it. Sorry, everyone. I was doing product design for engineering, so I could have been the next Johnny Ive, but instead I'm here with you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got to the end of the comments. If you've got any more questions, please leave them in the actual comments instead of in the live chat. I will follow up with any of those and do them. Oh, couple of quick questions right at the end. If Apple buys TSMC, do you think that we will see NVIDIA GPUs in the Apple ecosystem? Nope. Because they would be NVIDIA designs and not TSMC stuff. Remember when Epic Games used to support Apple, like iPhone 4 Infinity Blade? Yeah. They just got greedy. That was all it was. They decided they didn't want to pay the commission to be there anymore, and that's their own fault. But thank you all so much, guys. Good night. Good night, Professor. Thank you all. Love you so much. And we'll do some more chatting. Hit me up in the comments. Thanks. Love you.